Hello and welcome to this episode of the Terry Talks Nutrition Educational Webinar Series. Our presenter today is Mr. Terry Lemerond himself. Terry is a retailer, an author, an educator, and an entrepreneur. He has many years' experience in the natural products industry, including researching and formulating nutritional and botanical formulations that are top sellers on the market today. He maintains a personal website that is dedicated to health and nutrition at terrytalksnutrition.com, where you can find a wealth of health information. And we're delighted to have Terry here with us today to give us some new information on our topic, which is sugar toxicity. So thank you very much, Terry, and welcome to Terry Talks Nutrition.
And welcome, everyone. I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you for coming on board with us. I travel all over the country and I give lectures to consumers and to retailers across the country. And I also have two radio shows I do weekly, one on Saturday morning and one on Sunday morning, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And you can listen locally or you can otherwise listen via our website, terrytalksnutrition.com. You can listen live. Or you can go to the archive section of the radio shows and you can listen to all of the radio shows that we have archived there for your enjoyment. And the reason that I open up the session with this introduction of the radio shows and the lectures is I try to help people increase the quality of their life and the quality of their health. And diet is number one. We cannot out-exercise diet. We cannot outrun exercise. We cannot outlift our diet. We cannot out-supplement our diet. So what I'm saying is that you have to start the foundation of your health with a high-quality diet. And today we have so many people unhealthy in America. And the American diet is, first of all, a bad diet. It is somewhere between 70 and 90% carbohydrate, refined carbohydrates, and sugar. So this presentation today is on sugar, and when I lecture and I do my radio shows, my number one, my number one objective is to get people to think about how to improve the quality of their health and their life. And the one thing I emphasize is if you don't do anything else, do just one thing, and that is to reduce the quantity of sugar in your life, the quantity of sugar in your diet. And you have to realize that if we are eating 70 to 90% carbohydrates and sugar in the American diet, we are unhealthy. We are 37th of all the industrialized nations in the world in terms of world health. We are number 37 out of 37 industrialized nations. We are the sickest country in the world. In the beginning of our century, the 1900s, we were consuming about 4 to 6 pounds of sugar per individual per year. Now, I've seen some conflicting reports, anywhere from 150 to 250 pounds of sugar today per individual per year. And there are many people, including myself, that do not eat any sugar at all. So somebody may be up to 300 pounds of sugar. That's almost a pound a day of sugar. Now, I know you don't eat sugar out of the sugar bowl. I know you may not be putting sugar on your food. But food manufacturers use sugar for a variety of reasons. And we're going to talk about why sugar is toxic and why sugar is ruining your health. Americans eat more sugar than any other country in the world. We are eating grams, 126 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar per day, and more sugar than any other country in the world. Now, here are some reasons where we hide sugar. Food manufacturers have fought the battle against fats. And they want sugar to be in everything because it keeps it moist, it tastes great, and they have addicted everybody to the taste of sugar. So here is where sugar is hidden and where it's coming from that you may not realize. When I talk to people about giving up their sugar, they say, I don't use sugar at home. I don't buy sugar. I don't have a sugar bowl. I don't use very much sugar. They have all kinds of excuses that they're not using sugar in their diet. But if you look at all the foods they're eating, they're all laden with sugar. They hide sugar. Ketchup, for example, is 1/3 sugar. You think it's tomatoes, but it's not. It's sugar. So we're getting sugar in all kinds of foods that we are not aware of. So Americans eat sugar because they are afraid of fat. In the 1950s and the 1960s, just for some really observational studies, no research, no clinical data, no clinical studies have ever proven that fat is bad for us. Now, there are some fats that are bad for us, but fat in general is not bad for us. Saturated fats are not bad for us. Coconut oil is not bad for us. Olive oil is not bad for us. Avocado oil is not bad for us. Sesame seed oil, butter, cream, lard, eggs are not bad for us. There's never been any proof that they were bad for us. But because of an observational study looking at countries where they don't eat much fats and their cardiovascular health, they said, well, fats must be bad for us. So everybody jumped on the bandwagon. They avoided fats. So what was left that food manufacturers could use to make food taste halfway decent? Because once you take the fats out, food tastes like cardboard. So they wanted to use something to make it taste better. So they started dumping sugar into all of our foods, and then instead of having us eat good fats, they made bad fats, like margarine, vegetable shortenings, hydrogenated fats, all the fats that were bad for us. And then we never ate polyunsaturated fats. We never ate corn oil or soybean oil or safflower seed oil or sunflower seed oil. Those are all fats that were made after they found they could not sell all of their crops, all of their seeds, all of their nuts, so they started making oils. We never ate oils before the last 50, 60, 70 years ago. So this all has come on at a shock to the American diet. Well, we are eating more polyunsaturated fats than ever before. So for decades, health experts advised Americans to decrease fat intake because fat will kill you. Baloney. Fats, we can't live without fats. In fact, most fats are called essential fatty acids. Why are they called essential? Because we can't live without them. Americans turn to low-fat everything. Cows don't give low-fat milk. They don't give 2%. They don't give non-fat milk. Always good quality proteins are combined with fats. Nature knows what she's doing. Nature knows what we need together to make foods excellent to taste, satisfying, not to eat too much, and so that they combine the right proteins with the right fats. That's all done by nature. And then we take it all apart thinking that we know better, and then we put out everything is low fat, no fat, whatever it is, fat-free. So result, skyrocketing rates of diabetes, metabolic syndrome, heart disease, obesity, all based on carbohydrates and sugar. You know, when we eat sugar, we can eat a lot of sugar. We can't eat a lot of fat. Try to eat a lot of fat and you're going to be satisfied. You can't eat any more than that. But you can eat a lot of sugar because sugar is metabolized quickly. Now, as we continue to add more sugar to our diet, we can't eat all that. We can't metabolize all that. We can't burn all that. So it's stored. And how is it stored in our body? As fat. Now, as we are a low-fat nation, we are a high-sugar nation, we have more fat people than if we were on a high-fat diet. Because all that sugar, all that starch turns to fat. It's stored in our body, and guess what? It's stored as saturated fat. So who was behind the fear of fat? Food manufacturers. They want to find a way to sell more of their product. So the sugar industry and everything that goes into food, such as SnackWells, what is the #1 ingredient? They're listed by their dominance of their ingredients, so it's sugar. Enriched flour, that's sugar. Invert sugar, that's sugar. Corn syrup, that's sugar. You see how much sugar we are eating today? And anything that is a form of starch, even a complex starch, any tubers or beans, they're all complex starch, and refined, like white flour, white rice. These are all forms of sugar. The body converts them in our body to sugar in order for them to be utilized. So we are on a high carbohydrate, high sugar diet that has made us fat. Not because we're eating fat, it's because we're eating too much sugar. And all these, like SmackWell, is sugar-free. Excuse me, it's fat-free. But yet we're getting fat from the sugar. It's what happens to the body's chemistry. So the Sugar Foundation funded the studies. Cut out fat message. In the 1950s and 60s, the sugar industry started paying for research that minimized the risk of sugar and targeted fat as a real health hazard. You know, my friends, we are being taken to the cleaners. We are being misled. We are being lied to. We are being screwed only because manufacturers want to make more money. There's greed for money. They have no intentions of ever telling the American people how to eat well. 98% of all cancer is caused by the American lifestyle and the American diet. And yet they want billions of dollars to research on cancer. They'll never tell you how to prevent disease, how to prevent cancer, how to prevent all the sickness and illnesses. They just want more vaccines, more cancer drugs, more ways to hook you into paying for all of this medical care that comes with drug therapy, surgery, radiation. We are not getting the right information to be healthy. This is a disease-oriented country. Historians have found that as far back as 1954, sugar executives were lobbying to get Americans to eat a low-fat diet for their health, knowingly because they want to dump more sugar into the foods they sell, knowing that those calories would be replaced by something else, sugar. When research on sugar and heart disease began to emerge in the 1960s, the sugar industry funded its own publications to minimize and dismiss those results. What the sugar industry doesn't want you to know: sugar is a poison. You know, all things are poisonous at a certain level of ingestion. Water will kill you if you drink too much. Sugar will kill you if you take too much. And we have gone from 4 to 6 pounds a year to up to 200 to more pounds of sugar per year per individual. 18% of our children are obese. This country is suffering from all the high carbohydrate foods and sugar that Americans are eating. Sugar wrecks your brain. Recent studies found that a long-term high fructose diet slows brain function, damaging memory and learning. And we are consuming 67 pounds a year of high fructose corn syrup. Sugar makes you fat and gives you diabetes. Diabetes type 2 is not a disease. It doesn't need drugs. It needs a change of diet and a change of lifestyle. Doctors just want to give you a pill. The drug companies just want to convince you that you need a pill. It all comes from greed and all the shareholders wanting more money. 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese. That's sickening. Each 5% increase in the amount of calories from sugar sweetened beverages is associated with 18% increase in diabetic risk. You know, I travel all over the world, and I'm gone 2 or 3 times a month. I'm in the airport sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and what are people doing? They're eating some kind of a high fructose corn syrup soft drink, a cola drink. At 5 o'clock in the morning, they're drinking soft drinks with a corn muffin or a bran muffin, white flour, white sugar, carbohydrates, carbohydrates, carbohydrates. That's all Americans eat today. Sugar damages your heart. People consuming 25% or more of daily calories of sugar were more than twice as likely to die of heart disease than those who got less than 10% of their calories from sugar. As I say, if you don't do anything else to help your health, cut out sugar, down to zero. You can do it. Sugar feeds cancer. Like gas feeds your car, it needs fuel. Yes, that's gas. Cancer cells, in order to survive and spread, need something to fuel it, and that is sugar. Mice that were genetically predisposed to cancer, breast cancer, were fed a diet high in sugar. At age 6 months, 58% of the mice had tumors. And the more sugar they were fed, the bigger the tumors grew. Sugar is your diet. Sugar in your diet is like filling up your car with dirty gas. Can your car run on dirty gas? Can you dump sugar in your gas tank? Can you dump sand in your gas tank? It'll run for a little while, but it's not going to run very long. Probably for a little while, then it's going to quit. But the longer the dirty gas circulates in the engine, the more damage it does, like sugar does in your body. Eventually, the damage is so bad, the engine breaks down, and so does your body. Your body breaks down into what we would call a disease or cancer. Sugar absorption. The simple, complex, or simple carbohydrates versus the complex carbohydrates. Simple sugars break down very, very quickly. It's like lighting a match. When you light a match, you got a quick burst of flame, and then it's gone. That's how sugar acts in our body. And when you eat a lot of sugar, it causes a sugar spike. A lot of sugar in our bloodstream. And that's what doctors see. Oh, you got too much sugar in your bloodstream. You have diabetes. No, you just have eaten too much sugar. Cut out the sugar. Get out and walk 10 to 20 minutes a day. Lose some weight, and you will not be a type 2 diabetic, I promise you. You will not be a type 2 diabetic. And you can also look into an herb called Hintonia. Hintonia has been researched over 60 years by a German company and found it to be extremely helpful for moderating blood sugar levels and moderating A1C levels in the body. Hintonia. It's an herb that has been around for 60 years and has a lot of good research on it. But basically, it just comes down to your lifestyle. You are not a type 2 diabetic. Your body makes insulin. Only the insulin is overwhelmed by the amount of sugar that we consume. Insulin becomes ineffective, and the cells build up a resistance to the insulin. So we have to cut down the sugar. That's all it is. Cut down the sugar, cut down the carbohydrates. Start eating a good intake of proteins, good quality proteins with fat and with vegetables and some low fruits. No sugar, no juice, nuts, seeds, and berries. Why not juice? Well, when you eat an apple, you're happy. You're satisfied. Would you eat 8 apples or 10 apples? You would say, are you crazy? Why would I do that? Well, that's what you do when you drink a glass of juice. When you drink a glass of apple juice or orange juice has up to 14 teaspoons of sugar per glass. That's the same as eating sugar. So don't drink juice because you're bypassing all the fiber that's involved with the fresh fruit. Eat the fruit, especially low sugar fruit. Now, complex carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, but the process takes longer because you have a lot of sugar molecules bound together and you have fiber. So it slows down the rate of metabolizing the carbohydrates and slowing down the absorption of the sugars of those carbohydrates into the bloodstream. So you have a more even level of absorption of sugars. When you eat just pure sugar or high fructose corn syrup, or any of the other forms of sugar, they're in the bloodstream almost within minutes. But complex carbohydrates might take a few hours. So it slows down the process. So complex carbohydrates are found with fiber, which slows the digestive process. More stable blood sugar levels with fewer spikes and crashes. But still, you may be so intolerant to carbohydrates that you still might want to cut them down really significantly. Probably most people will do very, very well on 20 to 70 grams of carbohydrates per day, and the average American diet today is about 300 to 400 grams of carbohydrates today. So simple sugars are just one or two linked sugar molecules like glucose, fructose, lactose, where complex carbohydrates are three or more linked sugars like starch, amylose, and the complex sugars not absorbable at all because of fiber, like cellulose or pectin. They don't break down. Even some things like the vegetables don't break down because they have a lot of fiber. Mushrooms don't break down. They have a lot of fiber. So we have to eat foods that are filled with fibers. Most people today don't get the 30 grams of fiber that we require. They might get only a few grams of carbohydrates, and then they're constipated, they have high blood sugar levels, they're unhealthy. So here are some of the rapid sugar absorption. Fruit snacks. It sounds really good. I'm going to give my kids fruit snacks. They're really healthy. No fiber. The first three ingredients are sugar, artificial colors, and genetic engineering. So they've been modified. Here's the ingredients. Corn syrup, dried corn syrup, pear puree, sugar. That means sugar. Palm oil. How many carbohydrates? 25 grams of carbohydrates per serving. And they say it's equal to one medium apple. That's how they are lying to us. They're deceiving us. Let your kids eat an apple. Don't get all that sugar. If they're going to eat some sugar, make it fresh fruit. Apple, pear, apricot, something good for them rather than all the sugar that's hidden in these artificial food manufactured products. Try not to buy things in boxes and bags that are packaged because you know that they're they're man-made food items and not naturally produced food items. So the special case against high fructose corn syrup. This is one of the worst things you can consume. High fructose corn sweetener, it's cheap. It's cheaper than cane sugar. They want you to convert to it. In fact, they're trying to change the name of it technically. They've been petitioning the FDA to call it corn sweetener or corn sugar. Sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Well, it's not. And it can be extremely damaging to the liver and increase the amount of visceral fat. The most dangerous type of fat, that's what we call belly fat. That's the most dangerous kind of fat you can have on your body. Animal studies have found that increased intake of high fructose corn syrup was associated with leaky gut and liver damage versus animals on a controlled diet, even though the high fructose corn syrup fed animals did not gain more weight, they were more unhealthy. In a study of high fructose corn syrup intake and liver damage, 30% of the patients with liver damage reported consuming drinks with high fructose corn syrup on a daily basis, and 52% had at least one drink a week. So the soft drinks are the things you really want to give up. The juice you want to give up, and try to look at every label you buy because you are eating sugar in everything you buy in a package. The average American consumes more than 60 pounds, in fact, I think it's 67 pounds of high fructose corn syrup a year. And that's not counting just pure sugar or brown sugar or turbinado sugar or coconut sugar. That's all sugar, my friends. It's all sugar. You can't replace one sugar with another because they're all damaging. So what do you need to do? Cut out sugar. Bottom line, take sugar out of your diet, you will improve your health dramatically. Remember, almost every processed food contains sugar. Replace as many processed foods as possible with natural, fresh foods. Shop the perimeter of your grocery store. Fruits, vegetables, and then go into your dairy, and then go into your animal proteins, your fish, your whatever it might be, whatever animal kind of protein you buy. Try to buy foods that will comply with the paleo diet or the ketogenic diet. I like both. Personally, I follow the ketogenic diet, which is about 30% animal protein, 60 to 80% animal fats, or all fats combined, and only 10% non-starchy. That means no tubers, no potatoes. Potatoes are almost like pure sugar. You'd be better off to eat a Snickers. Oh, don't do it. Don't do this at home. But you'd be better off to eat a Snickers bar than a white potato. And then try to have no more than 72 grams of carbohydrates daily. 50 or less is better. And some may even do better on only 20%. If you're really, really sick and you're tired of being really, really sick, get on the ketogenic diet and get well, and then you can start reducing some more of the carbohydrates into your diet after you have become healthier. And watch out the foods that are glycemic index, they should be 50 or less. Potatoes are 100 on the glycemic index. Sugar isn't even that high. All right, thank you very much. But one thing I'll remember, don't eat sugar. Get it out of your diet. You don't have to be a type 2 diabetic. There's no such thing. They just give it a name because it's similar to a diabetic, a diabetic type 1. It's similar to it. So they just call it type 2 because they don't know what else to call it. But it's just too darn much sugar in your diet. Lose weight, get out and walk a little bit, cut out sugar out of your diet. My friends, in 3 months, you're going to say, I never knew I could have so much energy and feel so good and not have this fatigue I've been struggling with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. That was a really good overview of why people need to take this sugar issue seriously, and I hope that this message reaches many, many people and convinces them to make a real change in their lives and to make things better. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Folks, for more information, please go to terrytalksnutrition.com. You can read more about Terry's diet plan, exercise recommendations, and a whole host of common health conditions. You can also ask Terry your questions on the website, and feel free to continue to follow us on YouTube. We'll be posting more new recordings all the time from a number of health presenters, including more words from Terry. So we hope that you found this information valuable. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and we hope to see you again soon at our next Terry Talks Nutrition educational presentation. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.